Have you ever noticed that you can feel completely different depending on who you're with? Some people make you feel relaxed, seen, like you can breathe. And other people, you feel yourself bracing, like watching your words, walking on eggshells, second guessing yourself all the time. Same person, different environments, being around different people, and their different nervous systems. You're not imagining that. It's not something weird going on with you. I think we've accidentally created a message in the self-help world that sounds like this. If you're regulated enough, you should be okay anywhere. I don't believe that's true at all. We are relational beings. Our nervous systems are constantly responding to our environments, including the nervous system of another person. The people around us, the tone of a room, predictability, chaos, kindness, criticism, the places we repeatedly turn to have an impact on us. That's not some weakness within us. One of the greatest sources of safety we can find is another regulated human being. Think about a time when someone stayed calm when you couldn't. They listened. They didn't shame you. They didn't rush you. They stayed present with you. Did you notice what happens inside of you when you were with someone like that? Your nervous system began to settle. That's called co-regulation. We borrow safety from one another. And that's what we've been doing since we were babies. And a person's ability to co-regulate depends on their capacity for what we call attunement. And attunement is a person's ability to notice how someone else is feeling, how dysregulated they might be, and respond to that dysregulation with another person with co-regulation. It's their ability to notice the feelings and responses and emotions that someone else is going through and offer that person support that feels co-regulating. As beautiful as that is to find someone who can co-regulate with you, relationships can shape us in the opposite direction too. I think this is a really, really important realization, so I really want you to listen to this part carefully. Sometimes we're asking our nervous system to relax in environments that repeatedly communicate danger. Maybe it's constant criticism, unpredictability, chronic conflict, emotional invalidation, and dismissiveness. Maybe it's never knowing what version of another person you're going to encounter. You might be constantly told that you're overreacting when you're calling this out or having an emotional response to it. But your nervous system isn't necessarily overreacting. It may be responding accurately. And I really want you to sit with that for a minute. A lot of the ways you're being told you're overreacting might actually be your nervous system responding to another person's disrespectful behavior. People who struggle to take accountability are always the biggest offenders with treating other people like this. Think about a moment when you've come to someone and said, hey, there's this thing that's happening that I don't feel comfortable with. And the person that you're talking to has a choice in that moment. This is a moment of crossroads that we all come to in our lives when someone brings an issue to us. Criticism, feedback, frustration, any kind of emotion that they're experiencing based on your behavior or based on the behavior of people around you that you might care about. There is a moment where you have to open that space between stimulus and response, where conscious awareness has that decision. Am I going to validate or am I going to invalidate? Am I going to get defensive or am I going to listen and support? And those people that don't have that conscious awareness, that haven't learned how to take accountability without getting defensive or feeling attacked, those people are the first people to tell you that you're overreacting. I have returned to work environments, church environments, and relationships where it didn't matter what I did or didn't say, how I said it, how I showed up. those environments and people were hell-bent on misinterpreting me, misunderstanding me, and exploiting my good intentions, which caused me constant dysregulation. And I then had to continually work to bring myself back into balance. And I learned how to do that, how to remain calm in the face of absolutely inappropriate behavior. But that doesn't mean I needed to stay there. At one point or another, I decided I had had enough of being invalidated, gaslit, misinterpreted all the time, and told that I was overreacting. I learned in this process that I could show up as the best possible version of myself, not overreacting, but regulated and calm, and I would still be mistreated. Over time, I learned that another person or system's inability to show up with emotional validation and maturity is not a measure of what I deserve. It's a measure of their capacity or lack thereof. And where someone lacks capacity and refuses to adapt, we don't have to remain. So sometimes the most compassionate thing we can do for ourselves is not to regulate harder. Sometimes the answer is changing the environment. Not because people are bad or because conflict should always be avoided. Because boundaries are an incredibly important way that we communicate safety to our nervous system. A boundary says, I don't have to stay where I'm repeatedly harmed. I don't have to absorb what other people are throwing at me and trying to make me responsible for. I don't have to sacrifice myself to prove that I'm a good person. Boundaries are such an important way to build safety around ourselves. And boundaries do another thing with our nervous system. A lot of the time when we're dealing with people and systems who are exploiting us, exploiting our goodness, that are intent on misunderstanding us and weaponizing our good qualities against us, telling us that we're overreacting and invalidating us, we actually lose trust in ourselves. That kind of treatment often makes us start to doubt our own reality. We don't trust our own experiences, and it creates this brain fog and fear and self-abandonment that is so incredibly dysregulating and is at the root of a lot of the reactivity that we deal with in these environments. Boundaries are a way of restoring self-trust. You are teaching your body that when anxiety comes up, when anger comes up, sadness, frustration, whatever it is that's coming up within you that's making you say, this is not safe. Instead of going, oh, no, I'm just being too much. Oh, no, they said I'm overreacting, so I must be. Oh, no, and you're like gaslighting yourself. Instead of that, you're saying, I hear you. Anger, I see you. Anxiety, I see you. I see that this environment, that this relationship is not supporting me. I'm hearing you, and I'm going to do something about it as soon as I regulate. And then you learn to trust yourself. Those big responses that have arisen within you because no one's ever listening to you when you're struggling, they start to soften and quiet down because they learn you're listening. You've got their back. You're not going to suppress them anymore. You're going to give them a voice, but not let them make the decisions. I like to picture myself at the head of a conference table, and all of my big emotions are like embodied as different people sitting around at this table. And they all get to say what they want to say, and I'm going to listen to them, and I'm going to validate them. When my anger comes up, I say, I see you. I've learned how important my anger is. I need to hear it. I need to notice it. I need to listen to what it's teaching me. Not react to it, but listen to it. Let it have a moment where it tells me what it's talking about. Why is it here? And then I say, okay, I hear you. And factoring that into my decision making. And then I let every other emotion kind of have a moment where it has a voice. I listen to it. I validate it. And then I put everything together. I regulate and then come to decisions after. Boundaries are a really important way to help us restore self-trust and regulate our nervous system and affect our environment so that we don't have to be constantly dealing with these things coming at us all the time. We can also intentionally shape our environments. And I want you to think about your daily life. What helps your nervous system feel more settled? Is it nature, music, lighting, a clean space, quiet? Maybe it's movement, predictable routines, a favorite chair, a warm drink. Maybe it's time with safe people. All of these things are like little tiny things on a list, but our nervous system experiences them as incredibly meaningful. And when we build them into our daily environment, we create regulating environments for ourselves that widen our window of tolerance and help us feel more safe and grounded, regardless of what we're going through. So instead of asking yourself, why? What is wrong with me? Why can't I do the things that I mean to do? Again, we're moving that question to the side and we're replacing it with a different question. What environments help me become the person I intend to be? Where do I naturally feel more patient, connected, curious, and grounded? Those places, they're giving you information about yourself and your environment, and you need to pay attention to that. If you remember one thing from today, it's this. Healing isn't just about becoming strong enough to survive unhealthy environments. It may help you with that, but it's also about becoming wise enough to build healthier ones. You are not meant to regulate in isolation, and no one is asking you to stay in environments that cause you constant dysregulation. Your nervous system is shaped by your relationships, your environments, your boundaries, by the people you repeatedly return to. As you continue this journey, remember this: creating safety isn't just something you do inside of yourself. It's also something you intentionally build around yourself. And you deserve environments that help your nervous system breathe.